Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, February 26, 2024. Boy, I had a great tour today. Those guys had a blast. I love different tours at this place, and we're closed. Anyway, we have people come anyway. Just come on down. We're the folks who believe the Bible is true and evolution is stupid. We're on a bunch of different channels. The Genesis Baptist Church on YouTube is one of them, and you can follow us there. Dr. Kent, the Science Gent, is another new channel. So it is. I got to move the square. Move that over one squat. It's 26, Monday. Never mind. We're an independent Baptist church in Lenox, Alabama, Dinosaur Adventure Land, and we believe God should get the glory for his creation instead of the stupid evolution religion. Come visit, it's free. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to slide number, hold on one second, 1668. We'll be in John chapter 11, verse number 45, where we left off last time. Remember, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. That doesn't happen. I get a call today from somebody in the Pentecostal movement, and we talked for a little bit, and I said, look, you guys, you think the gifts are still for today. I understand, but why don't you raise the dead? It's one of Jesus said, that's one of the signs that'll follow. Speaking in tongues is the easiest one to fake. Anybody can do that. Watch this. Toyota, Kawasaki, Mitsubishi. Yeah. Oh, Toyota, Honda. What is it? It's easy to fake that, okay? Raise the dead. Anyway, Lazarus was raised from the dead. And many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did, believed on him. This is the whole purpose of everything Jesus did, is to get people to believe him and to receive him as their Savior. That's what we all need to do. You need to believe. Whosoever, if you believe on him, you have eternal life. Salvation is so simple. Anyway, so many of the Jews, because of Lazarus, they started believing on him. Oh, some people aren't going to like that. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. As soon as he raises Lazarus from the dead, some of these people go tell the Pharisees, you should see what happened. That guy raised Lazarus from the dead. We got to stop this man. See, it went their way, was to go to the authorities to try to stop Jesus from preaching and to hinder his effectiveness. Some people, that's their goal in life, to hinder other ministries. They don't do anything themselves, but they sure want to stop you. How many of those do we have? Gee whiz, okay. Some people today have the same MO. That's modus operandi, by the way. They don't build anything for the Lord themselves, but they sure love to tear down other ministries. How many YouTube channels are nothing but anti-Kent Hovind? They don't have anything, they don't build anything. We just talked about one a minute ago. Might want to debate again. Bring it on, okay? Be sure to get car insurance first, okay? Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? This man doeth many miracles. What do you mean, what do we? Guys, believe him? How about? The Pharisees said, what should we do? This man's doing miracles. Well, yeah, why don't you believe him and follow him? No, they can't do that, and I'll show you why. They said, if we let him thus alone, if we leave Jesus alone and he keeps doing these miracles, all men will believe on him. Yeah, is that bad? And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and our nation. What are these guys afraid of? They're afraid of losing their job and losing their position of authority. They're the chief priests. They've got to stop Jesus from doing miracles and helping people and feeding the 5,000 and raising the dead and making lame people walk and walking on water. They've got to stop Jesus from doing good, because if he keeps it up, the people will believe on him and they might lose their position of power. Take away our place and we have to stop him. We're going to lose our job. Oh, I see. They that will be rich, that's their goal in life, to be rich, fall into temptation and a snare, into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drowned men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil. It doesn't say money's evil, the love of money. How many crimes have been committed over money, would you guess? Nearly all of them, yeah. Theft, murder, unreal stuff has happened. Cheating, lying. The love of money is the root of all evil. Let's see. One of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that year, said, "You know nothing at all, nor consider it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people, that the whole nation perish not." Here, all Jesus has done is doing good. The Bible says he went about doing good. All he did was good everywhere he went. And they hated him because they might lose their position. Caiaphas, the high priest, well, he don't want to lose his job, okay? The 10 most corrupt politicians in the world. I think I see Vladimir Putin in there. You should read the list of the 10 most corrupt, read the 10 most corrupt politicians in history. The world of politics filled with corrupt politicians. We all know them. The corrupt politicians line their pockets at the expense of the people they're supposed to represent. In situations where money talks, everybody has a desirable interest who would spare their ears to listen very carefully, where power and political influence seems to rule in a country. They say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. How many politicians have made decisions based on money rather than what's right? Yeah, think about it. The love of money. How many problems does America have right now because of somebody's corrupt politician and their love of money? That's why they love to start wars. Doesn't matter who wins. The goal is to reduce the population and get everybody in debt to them. Bankers love wars. They win. Doesn't matter who wins. They win either way because they loan the money to buy the ammunition. And you spend a $10,000, 80 millimeter shell, and how much do you get back on that when you trade it in? Yeah, $2 worth of brass. Okay. Caiaphas, he's an interesting fellow. Then assembled together the chief priests, this is in Matthew 26, at the end of Matthew, and the scribes and the elders unto the palace of the high priest, who's called Caiaphas. The palace. Oh, Caiaphas is worried about losing his job, his house, his position. And they that laid hold on Jesus, this is when he got arrested, led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and elders were assembled. Caiaphas, mentioned in the Bible 9 times. Annas had sent him bound unto Caiaphas, the high priest, in John 18. We'll see that in a couple chapters. Annas, the high priest, and Caiaphas, and John, and Alexander, and as many were of the kindred of the high priest, were gathered together at Jerusalem. They're trying to stop Peter. Caiaphas was involved in executing Jesus. He was involved in trying to stop Peter from preaching, had him beaten. Caiaphas, this guy was worried about his position. He's one of the high lodge members. Yeah, okay. Now consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people. What? Caiaphas said, it's expedient for us. Look up the word expedient. Suitable or efficient for accomplishing a purpose. What's your purpose, Caiaphas? Convenient, but based on a concern of self-interest rather than principle. That word expedient. You're worried about yourself, aren't you? Let's see. Caiaphas said, they don't consider it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people and not that the whole nation should perish. Expedient. They want Jesus to die so that they can keep their position because he's making people turn away from them to Jesus. Got to stop him. Expedient. Suitable for achieving a particular end in a given circumstance. Characterized by concern with what is opportune. Opportunistic, not worried about, character or truth. Nor consider it's expedient that one man should die. The word expedient is used in the Bible 7 times. Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. He probably didn't even know he was prophesying. And not for that nation only, but that he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Jesus is going to die and make a whole new family of God's children. Yeah. And then from that day forth, they took counsel together to put him to death. Caiaphas, what are you thinking? You think you should put an innocent man to death because he raised somebody from the dead? He healed people, healed sick people. He fed 5,000 men plus women and children. He walked on water. You guys are getting together, taking counsel, figuring out how can we kill this man? What is wrong with these people? Duh. Jesus, therefore, anytime you see a therefore, you should see what it's there for. Okay, it's because of their taking counsel to put him to death. Jesus walked no more openly among the Jews. He didn't go around preaching like he used to. Jesus was smart enough to say, look, I better go take it slower, better go hide. But he went thence unto a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim. They took counsel. The king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. What a dumb bunch of counselors he had. They said, oh, make some golden calves for the people to worship. See how that story turned out in 1 Kings 12. Then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall my camp be. And one of the prophets was telling the king of Israel where they were going to camp. He didn't have a spy amongst them like he thought. God's prophet was revealing it. And Rehoboam, King Rehoboam, King David had Solomon. Solomon had Rehoboam, was his son, okay, grandson of King David. Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, saying, what counsel give ye? He asked the old men, because the people came and said, hey, Rehoboam, you're king now. Your dad Solomon, toward the end of his life, went crazy and increased taxes, and would you knock it off? Would you get rid of some of the government regulations? Cut down on the taxes. Rehoboam said, I'll get back with you. He went and talked to the old men and said, what do you think, guys? They all said, yeah, he's right. The people are right. Then he went and talked to the young men. They said, oh, no, you should tell them you're going to double the taxes, triple the taxes, make it harder. Oh, he did. He said, I'm going to follow the advice of the young men, and it split the kingdom. And from then on, it was Israel and Judah. The civil war split the kingdom. Rehoboam took the wrong counsel, but he took counsel. The Pharisees took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. I have people that in my debates, they're not looking for truth. They're looking to find something I say wrong, one slip of the tongue, and they'll maximize that. All you got to do is get one misspelled word. Einstein did that with his class one time. He wrote on the board, 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18. He went all the way up, 9 times 9 is 81. Then he put 9 times 10 is 91. And the students all snickered, ha, 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 there's the genius Einstein. He said, did you notice? I did a lot of things right. I got 9 of them right. You picked on the one mistake I made. Careful, don't do that in life. Okay? Can't you see something good in somebody? All they could see with Jesus was, he's a threat to our job. That's what they saw. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Because remember, they gave Judas 30 pieces of silver after Jesus was crucified. He repented and came and threw the money at their feet and said, this is blood money. I can't take this. And so then they said, what do we do with this 30 pieces of silver? This is blood money. We can't put it in the treasury. Let's go buy a field to bury people who come through town and we don't know who they are and they die. Bury them. A burial plot for strangers. And the Pharisees went forth and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him. Now, the Pharisees and the Herodians were enemies in real life. They were the Republicans and the Democrats. But when it comes to Jesus, they got together and said, let's figure out a way to destroy him. People will unite over the strangest things. From that day forth, they took counsel to put him to death. When they heard that, they were cut to the heart and took counsel to slay them. This is Peter preaching. And the people heard what Peter said. They said, we've got to kill these guys for their preaching. After that many days were fulfilled, the Jews took counsel to kill him. Back to John. From that day forth, they took counsel together to put him to death. Jesus, therefore, walked no more openly among the Jews, but went thence unto a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples. It's interesting. This city, Ephraim, today is the Palestinian village of Tyre. Today, of course, it's mostly Catholic and Greek Orthodox, but at least they're not Jewish. Okay, city of Tyre is the only Christian town left in Israel. It holds fast to its memory of Jesus seeking refuge there shortly before his crucifixion. The Gospel of John says Jesus went to Tyre, then called Ephraim, after he raised Lazarus to life, and the Jewish authorities planned to put him to death. This is where he went to hide, to hang out. The Jews' Passover was nigh at hand, And many went out of the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then sought they for Jesus, and spake among themselves as they stood in the temple, What think ye, that he will not come to the feast? So Jesus is off hiding in a small town. They said, What do you think? Is he going to come to this feast? It's the Passover, you know. Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a commandment. If any man knew where he were, he should show it, that they might take him. Can you imagine? They passed a law. If you know where Jesus is, you have to tell us. They want him bad, really bad, okay? Then Jesus, chapter 12 here, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which he had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served. Here's Martha. She's the one always serving, and Mary wants to sit and listen to Jesus. Mary was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly. What on earth is spikenard? She anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Well, spikenard, the original Greek word is litra, which means a Roman pound, equivalent to 239 grams, 11 ounces, almost 12 ounces. So she took a litra, a pound of spikenard, to anoint his hair. Spikenard, also called nard, nardin, muskroot, a class of aromatic amber-colored essential oil derived from some plant in India, China, Nepal, Himalaya. Spikenard, you can still buy it today, $100 for an ounce. Let's see. She put 12 ounces on his feet and wiped it with her hair. $1,200 worth of ointment. She took a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with odor. She must really love this guy. $1,200 worth of ointment on his feet. Then one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him. Wouldn't that be awful to be Simon? And the only reason you're famous and mentioned in the Bible, Simon, is because of your son, Judas Iscariot. What a thing to be famous for, producing a wicked kid. Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? Judas says, why didn't we sell this for $300 and give the money to the poor? Judas is mentioned in the Bible 23 times. Well, Judas Iscariot mentioned 11 times in the Bible. Judas, which betrayed him, went into the house. Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priest to betray him. He's mentioned twice in Matthew, twice in Mark, twice in Luke, and a bunch more times in the book of John. Judas, the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot, which was also the traitor. Then one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him, said, why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? This said he. Why did he say that? Not because he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bare what was put therein. Isn't that sad when somebody in charge of ministry money steals it? We had that happen here a couple of times. One of them's going to jail for a long time over that. Probably a long, long time. I hate that. Don't steal God's money. If you're trusted with God's money, you better be careful, right? Don't steal money from a church ministry. Then said Jesus, let her alone. Against the day of my burying hath she kept this. For the poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. Much people of the Jews, therefore, knew he was there. He's back in town now. And they came not for Jesus' sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he raised from the dead. Lazarus was becoming a drawing card. Hey, this guy came back from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus to death also. What? These chief priests, you want to kill Jesus because he's turning people to him, and now you want to kill Lazarus. Why? Because by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on Jesus. These guys are so concerned about their place and their nation. They don't care that people get saved. They're worried about their job security. There are judges and congressmen who will make rulings or votes because they're worried about keeping their job. Look what they're doing to Donald Trump, all the stuff they're trying to do to him. Absolutely stupid stuff. Somebody's pulling a string someplace going, get this guy for something. Why, Donald Trump's sure not the Messiah, that's for sure, but he beats the other options they got. Anyway, people hate you when you try to do right. Let's see. Science, anti-science, and geology. Talking about my website. They're participating actively in attempting to destroy modern science. Why do you hate Kent Hovind? Oh, I promise this will be my last post on this topic for at least 8.5 years. This will be when I went to prison. People have been asking me, why do you hate Kent Hovind so much? Let's see. Kent Hovind is a dangerous idiot that makes me seriously consider free speech should be limited. Kent Hovind, controversial creationist preacher known as Dr.Dino. His YouTube channel has received, Forbes magazine said his YouTube channel received 25 million views. I was turning people to the Lord, wasn't I? That's why they hated me. Yeah. Atheism on Reddit. Creationist Kent Hovind sentenced to 30 days. I hate that pathetic dirtbag, scum of the earth. Thank you so much, okay? It's called the tall poppy syndrome. Some countries, that's a phrase they use. Oh, you got the tall poppy syndrome. They use this in Australia and New Zealand. If one poppy is growing taller than the rest, rather than the rest of them try to grow tall, they just cut the tall one down. Makes them look better. Some people are always cutting down those who are doing something for the Lord because it makes them look better. You don't do anything for the Lord, but you can cut down somebody who is, right? Tall poppy syndrome refers to successful people being criticized when their peers believe they're too successful. I see. Viewpoint. The real victim is Kent Hovind. This is in 2003, 20 years ago, 2015, I'm sorry. People hate Brother Hovind not for who he is, but for whom he testifies to, Jesus Christ. He preaches the gospel. So you try to turn people to the Lord, they'll find some reason to hate you. They're still to this day saying I'm a tax protester. Never have been. Never have been. I didn't go to jail for tax evasion. It was structuring. See the program we did last December on Genesis Baptist Church? I explained the whole thing, read the transcript. But they lie. They want to make me look bad because it makes them look good. And I'm a threat to their religion of evolution. They that shall be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. They that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Hey, question. How many people have you turned to the Lord? How long have you been saved? I remember I'd been saved probably 6 months, and I led my first soul to Christ. I've told the story before. I got hooked. We're at the Heart of Illinois Fair, and I led the young man to the Lord. After he walked out of the tent, I got down on my knees beside that chair in the dirt in Heart of Illinois Fair, Peoria, Illinois. I said, Lord, it's me. It's Kent Hovind. I'm new at this, Lord. I've just been a Christian 6 months now. I don't know what you want me to do with my life, but I think I want to do this the rest of my life. I want to bring people to you. What are you doing? What's your goal in life? See how long you can chase Zelda? Is that your goal in life? See how much time you can spend watching TV? Is that your goal? See how fast your car will go? Is that your goal in life? What are you trying to do? Have you turned anyone to the Lord? Are you now actively leading anyone to follow the Lord? Hey, come with me, follow. You ought to be holding a Bible study with somebody. Why don't you find somebody who's struggling as a young Christian and help them? Maybe you've been through some hard times yourself. Now you'd be able to help them. Duh. Can't you find something to do? Bible says, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, when they shall separate you from their company. I don't want to go visit Dinosaur Adventure Land, that's for sure. That place is a cult. Okay. Yeah. They got people buried in the basement of their trailer. There's no basements in trailers, okay? And there's nobody buried out here. Well, the pig died a couple of years ago. We buried him, okay? They shall separate you and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy. Behold, your reward is great in the heaven. For in like manner did the fathers unto the prophets. Ha. If the world hates you, you know it hated me before it hated you. Mm-hmm. If you were of the world would love his own. But because you're not of the world, I've chosen you out of the world. Therefore, the world hateth you. This is standard. It just comes with being a Christian, okay? If they persecuted me, they'll persecute you also. If they have kept my saying, they'll keep yours also. 1 John 3, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Why did Cain kill Abel? Well, it tells us right here. His own works were evil and his brothers were righteous. See, if you do right, those who are doing wrong will hate you because you make them look bad. They're going to hate you just because you do right. They hated Jesus because he went about doing good, healing people. They hated Lazarus. What did he do wrong? Poor guy suffered for who knows how long with an illness and finally died, laid in the grave for 4 days. Jesus raised him up. His other friends had to unwind the grave clothes off of him. And then people hated him, wanted to kill him just for being alive. Poor guy's got to die again. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. The chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death. What up? Why? Because by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on Jesus. If you start turning people to the Lord, you're going to be hated. You want to learn how to be hated? Start serving God. They'll hate you. Simple question. What on earth are you doing, for heaven's sake? Can't you find something to do? Can't you start a ministry on something? I don't know. Some of you, I wish we had people all over I wish thousands of you viewers would do this simple thing for us. Do all the research on, pick a plant, pick an animal, anything, okay? What did we find out today? How many kinds of roses there are? The guys that were with me today, they're gone now. I said, how many kinds of roses are there? I forget, 320 or something? Why didn't somebody write just a little booklet on God's amazing rose? Or just write a booklet or do a PowerPoint presentation. And tell you what, if you write a cool booklet on flowers or animals or something that gives God the glory and teaches that, we'll buy them off you wholesale and sell it retail in our bookstore. How many books do we sell that I did not write? A bunch of them. Yeah. Maybe you could do something. We'll put it on our channel if you do it, if it's a quality stuff. How many kinds of pigs are there in the world? What's amazing about a pig? What's amazing about a cucumber? I don't know. Find out. Some of you could do something instead of chasing Zelda around. Why don't you do something for the Lord and turn people to the Lord? I want to encourage everybody. You could do something. Write a book. Find something to do. If you have art skill, Jack Chick was a fabulous artist. California, good friend of mine, Chick.com, Chick Publications. He did a whole series of amazing comic books. Billions of them are out there, the Chick tracks. I mean, billions. He just had a skill for cartooning, artwork. Don't you have some kind of skill besides, playing video games? Can't you think of something to do? What on earth are you doing, for heaven's sake? I wish everybody would get busy. There's a war going on. Find something to do. If you're not going to shoot, carry bullets or take care of the bullets or do something. Take care of the wounded. Find a ministry that you can do. Not cutting down other people. Don't tell somebody else how to do that. I say, people, if you don't like the way I do it here, go across the street and build another Dinosaur Adventure Land. Do your own. I'm trying hard to serve God and do it here. But if you don't like it, okay, I understand. I don't like some of the things done around here either. And I'm talking to myself about it, all right? But find something to do, please. If I can encourage you, I want to. Give me a call, 855 BIG-DINO, extension 3. I'd be glad to help you get going. But some of you have you have knowledge about, you could do a simple booklet or a video presentation on V8 engines and how this had to have a designer. This could not possibly have evolved by chance. And use that, if you're knowledgeable in mechanics, well, use it to turn people to the Lord. If you're knowledgeable, if you want to raise hamsters, talk about God's amazing hamster or something. I don't know. Think of something tonight. Why don't you shut off the TV, shut off your phone, and just say, Lord, talk to me. What would you like me to do? Reporting for duty, sir. What's my assignment? Do something. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. My voice is about gone. Been a long day. Yes, ma'am. Matt. How do you spell the last name?
It's just a phrase.
Killing it.
Killing it. Matt Killing It does not believe I'm alive. You are correct, Matt. I am dead.
You gotta say the date and time.
Oh, date and time, February 26, 2024. Why would he not believe I'm alive?
No, he don't believe that you're alive.
Right.
He
Oh.
thinks we're playing a recording.
He thinks we're playing a recording. Okay. I can't help you, Matt. Sorry. Okay. What's next?
I got a couple videos of that.
Brother, I gave tours today on the dusty road. I've been not able to see all evening. Let me see if this is the problem. Whoa.
Does it work?
Yeah.
When do you see your wife?
Wait till I see my wife. Yeah. Woo. Let's quit right now. I'm thinking about it. Okay. Do I need to believe in the virgin birth, crucifixion, resurrection, literally, in order to be saved? I think you do. Yep. Believe on Jesus. Which Jesus you want to believe on? The Mexican baseball player? That's not the right Jesus, okay? A lot of people in Mexico named Jesus. Can't you make a difference? People scoff at the thought of a deceiver, never realizing they've been under his influence for a long time. That's the truth. If I was the devil, I would not let people know I'm even alive. I'd just let them follow me without even knowing. Yeah. The Lord said, you're hired. Get a job. Good job. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. I can't. On which video do you talk about Lucy? My seminar series is 18 hours. It's $50 for the whole thing. You can return it, get your money back, minus shipping cost if you watch it and copy it, even if you want to. I used to loan them out. I tell people, I used to loan my videos out. I learned immediately. Baptists especially don't steal, but they borrow and never return. You buy it, okay? My dad always had a policy. He would never loan money. He'd always buy something off of somebody. People would come and say, hey, Bob, can I borrow $200? Nope. What do you got to sell? Well, here, I'll give you my $500 shotgun for $200. And okay, when you bring your 200 back, I'll give you the shotgun. People never do give it back, never bring the money back. He ended up with a shotgun for $200, you know. So if you want to buy, video number 2, I cover all about cavemen is on there, the so-called cavemen, Neanderthals and all that. Plus, I've done several programs on here on Genesis Baptist Church. Okay, let's see. I love you, man. You helped lead me to the Lord. I'm looking forward to seeing you in heaven. Well, good. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate that. Now, bring somebody with you, would you? Don't just come by yourself. Bring about 50 people with you to heaven, right? If you can't get a big one, get a little one. Can't you find an 8-year-old that'll listen to you? Teach them about the gospel. All right. Dave, replying to Ken Hovind, see you tomorrow, Lord willing. Amen.
These are the gentlemen from across the pond.
Coming from where?
England.
England. All right. Good evening, mate. Okay. That's Australia. Never mind. All right. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow night. We'll get more on John chapter 12, Lord willing. And the creeks don't rise too high. See you tomorrow.